A change so dramatic that there is no turning back. That's a revolution.
10 years ago, most people didn't think much about animal suffering or animal rights.
Your voice will be heard in this building, in this place, and around this country.
Over the past 10 years, a growing number of caring people have been working to change the way we humans think about and treat the other beings on our planet.
There are more people involved. There are more regulations being passed to prohibit abusive use of animals.
We're winning against the cruelty, and we're here to celebrate that.
To the animals.
Leading the fight is PETA, People for the Ethical Treatment of Animals, the largest, fastest growing, and most successful animal rights organization in the United States.
I thank God every day for PETA.
In the last decade, animal rights has become a mainstream issue. Simply through hard work and perseverance and a lot of dedication, a lot of help by a lot of people.
There's a massive change. People have woken up to the fact that it's one Earth. There are other beings than human beings on it. We're all one family, the animals, the human beings. We're all in this together.
The greatest respect for PETA. I think they have reached more people than any other animal group I know.
Well, I think it's the commitment of the people who run it. It's 100% and then some. And I think people recognize this, and that's why there's so much tremendous support across the country for PETA.
Social change begins with the vision of forward thinkers. In 1980, PETA founders called to action a few concerned people who were appalled by the cruelties they witnessed around them.
It was only when I became a government inspector and went behind the scenes in the laboratory that I saw animals being burned, being disrespected, being thrown away as if they were nothing. And I realized that for us, we usually don't go to places like the fur farms, like the slaughterhouses, and so we don't see what animals go through.
People are naturally decent. I think everybody wants to be ethical in their treatment towards animals. It's just bringing them together with the problems and changing our attitudes towards animals.
I don't think they would let them suffer in the animal experiments.
10 years ago, PETA co-founder Alex Pacheco made his own commitment to change. He went undercover in a Maryland laboratory to reveal the ugly truth behind the closed doors of animal research.
It was a nightmare, because I'd go in there and you'd see these little animals in these filthy, tiny, barren cages, and they would cry out, and when they cry, they sound just like human babies. The isolation and the deprivation were so severe that the animals engaged in a lot of self-mutilation. Some of the animals had broken bones and broken arms that were never treated. In a sense, they were being driven insane. Half of the animals died by accident before they were scheduled to be killed.
Pacheco's discovery led to the first ever police raid of a federally funded animal research facility and the first criminal conviction of a researcher for cruelty to animals. It also launched PETA as a pioneer in investigating and exposing animal abuse across the nation.
Our investigators go undercover, very much in the way a police officer might go undercover. And so we come out of these investigations with videotapes, photographs, daily journal notes documenting in detail exactly what is going on. And we take that information and show how laws are being violated.
You're going to hook the anti-vivisection people don't get a hold of this film.
This is a laboratory just outside Washington, D.C., funded by public money by the National Institutes of Health. I was asked by people for the ethical treatment of animals to write an affidavit because they wanted to prosecute the lab for cruelty, and I did indeed write an affidavit. The conditions I saw there were every bit as bad as depicted on the tape.
PETA's investigations are breaking new ground in a growing list of precedent-setting cases and are bringing animal rights to the forefront of the American political agenda.
PETA's investigators documented what goes on inside the country's two largest biological supply facilities.
In my classroom, I don't allow any dissection. The experience of using computer modeling as opposed to actual animals in dissection allows a student to learn the same information.
At PETA, we tackle radical issues, unpopular issues. We wade in and haul animals out of situations that most people wouldn't touch.
They want us to make a profit off of these animals by taking their lives, and they don't give a damn how much suffering is involved. It's just a disgrace to the whole state of Texas.
People look to PETA for having up-to-the-minute first-hand accounts of what is going on.
We are devoted to making a difference where it counts.
They didn't hurt the animals to make my coat.
I used to wear furs, and like most women who wear furs, I was totally convinced that I was doing a humane thing by wearing only ranch furs. I thought furs that were ranched had a very happy life until they went to sleep and were made into nice coats. What I didn't realize is the unspeakable cruelty involved in keeping a wild animal confined.
There's a total lack of care for these animals. You will find filth. The idea is to just barely keep them alive until they can be killed and skinned. I found animals on one farm I visited literally starving to death. As I was there over days, several of them died right before me.
They're not given a painless death. Many of them will have either the neck snapped or they will have their heads stuffed in jars with chloroform. Other animals are electrocuted, very brutal ways.
Hello, I'm B. Arthur with People for the Ethical Treatment of Animals. I have some important information on the international fur trade that I'd like to share with you.
PETA has exposed horrific conditions in fur farms worldwide. And caring consumers are letting the fur trade know that cruelty isn't chic anymore.
The fur industry is losing, and the animal rights people are winning.
You can't bring the animals back who are dead for a fur coat, but you can stop the demand and stop more animals from being killed.
All across the nation, people are shedding their furs and donating their once-cherished coats to PETA as a symbolic gesture for changing times.
Coats have come in by the thousands. We could barely keep up cataloging them as they came in.
And we've seen the fur industry almost crumble in the last 3 or 4 years.
Fur is dead!
I think animal testing is just fine. It's got to be done, and these products have got to be made safe for us.
When PETA investigators go undercover in product testing laboratories, they document case after case of gruesome and unnecessary torture, revealing to the public, often for the first time, who really pays the price for our cosmetics, toys, and household products.
The products, like shampoo or oven cleaner, are put into a rabbit's eye. All these animals are conscious. They're forced down an animal's throat. The animal's skin is abraded, made raw, and the product is smeared on and then left there. And animals are put in gas chambers and have to inhale aerosol products. These tests are done not to protect the consumer, but to protect the company from the consumer when you sue. So they're not safety tests. And then I realized it wasn't going away until we pushed the companies to change.
And PETA members push it to the limit. by protesting and boycotting companies which cruelly and unnecessarily test their products on animals. The result? Responsible corporate leaders, like those of Benetton, Revlon, Avon, and Mattel, publicly announce an end to their animal tests.
PETA has made us look at ourselves, at our products, and our entire industry in a totally different way. We did a lot of research and found that we still can create new and exciting and innovative products without using animal testing.
Colors. When we took our case to the public and said, you can make a choice, you can pressure the companies, and you can buy cruelty-free products, the consumers were just delighted. They wanted a choice, and they didn't want to contribute to cruelty.
God put them there for some reason. You had to eat them or do something with them.
Animals raised for food used to be outdoors in the sunshine. Today they're indoors. They're in huge sheds. They can often not even turn around because of the overcrowding.
I'd been involved in killing animals and living on a farm in Mexico. I was accustomed to animals being slaughtered, but by chance I happened to go through a huge slaughterhouse. What I saw and what I heard was horrifying.
Behind the scenes of factory farming, unimaginable suffering is just part of the daily menu. What's PETA doing about it?
Hi, I'm Katie Lang, and this is Lulu. We're with the People for the Ethical Treatment of Animals. We all love animals, but why do we call some pets and some dinner? If you knew how meat was made, you'd lose your lunch. I know, I'm from cattle country, and that's why I became a vegetarian.
Through mass media and public education, PETA is changing America's bill of fare by spreading the word that for the animals, for our bodies, and for the planet, a meatless diet is the healthy and humane one.
A meat-based diet leads to heart attacks, it leads to cancer, it leads to stroke, and those together are the top 3 killers of Americans. It's also a death sentence for the earth we live on. To get 1 pound of meat, you have to feed a steer or a cow 16 pounds of grain. The hungry of the planet would like to have that 16 pounds of grain instead of just 1 pound of meat.
It's said that a vegetarian saves an acre of trees a year. Animal-based agriculture can't carry on indefinitely. The planet can't sustain it.
If you live in the United States, if you're here in the 1990s, you've got the option. You don't have to kill an animal to get dinner.
I just had a tofu frankfurter. Good? My first tofu. Yeah, it tastes just like a frankfurter should taste without having to eat flesh.
It may be that the animals are treated badly, but I don't know any other way to do it.
One day, people are going to look back on the way we treat animals today as the most unenlightened time.
When people pitch in, become part of a campaign, you can really start to move mountains. And that's our job, is to get people going.
Tapping the power of the people to change attitudes and times. That's what PETA's grassroots campaigns do best. By education and media.
Hi, I'm Mike Farrell.
I'm River Phoenix.
Please write today for my list on what you can do for animals.
Polar Bear and I, thank you.
By reaching youth with records and rock concerts.
We're the B-52s and we're your guest hosts.
By publications and letter-writing campaigns. And by lobbying our lawmakers.
There are many organizations in the Congress, but none as informal or as important as the Congressional Friends of Animals.
PETA members are making a difference. As a group and one by one.
When I could get the offices, the staffs of senators to return my phone calls on these issues, I really felt that they were counting my vote. PETA is so on top of everything. They give you the names and addresses of companies to write to protest their violation of animal rights. And then they also do this thing in their newsletter where they ask you to thank people who have changed.
PETA's not sort of dragged down by the misery of it all. So there's sort of an upbeat, we can do it, we are doing it, we will do it approach to it.
The voices of PETA are ringing out clearly. They're challenging the exploitation of animals in entertainment. They're securing sanctuary for the refugees of cruelty. The PETA family is diverse. Nearly 500,000 strong, and still growing.
I think maybe what PETA has given everybody is a way in order to do something. I mean, I cannot stand as a human being in today's society and do nothing. I will not do nothing.
It's not just pie in the sky. It's not just long term. More progress has been made in the last 10 years than has been made in the last 100 years. There is immediate satisfaction because you know you're saving lives. You know you're making a difference. You're reducing suffering every day. And that's what it's all about.
I see many more people coming into the PETA family over the years, more people waking up to what's happening to animals. Everybody can do something. Everybody is learning at a different rate. There may just be one issue that moves you, and you can certainly apply yourself to that and make all the difference in the world. All that matters is that we care, we're moving in the right direction together.
A world blessed with greater compassion. You can be part of this picture too. You can be part of the family who is changing minds and changing times.
Bless the bees and the children. In this world they have no doubt. They have no choice. Bless the bees and the children, for the world can never be the world they see. Light their way when the darkness surrounds them. Give them light, let it shine all around them. Bless the bees and the